Alright, in this video I wanted to talk about the actual one item, but I'll do an overview. The Communicant set was finally released a couple days ago, a couple days late. The armor, it's all this stuff's clones of the retro golden set, which I picked up at the time and wasn't that impressed with. But there was a couple changes made recently to the weapons. They basically decreased the damage side to increase the heal side. And so if you go to that info subs here, basically the magic version is the item I'm mostly going to talk about. If you cast a spell, and it doesn't specifically say here, but it only works with light spells. Okay, so the light spell then creates a MP and SP heal for the player. A lot of people think it's just MP heal, but it's not. The way it works, and it starts right in here. If your MP is greater than 80% while your SP is not, or your SP is greater than 80% while your MP is not, it will not heal the resource that is above 80%. With the magic weapon, that mostly means if your SP bar is really full and you cast a spell, it's only going to heal the MP. Now, once your MP drops below 80%, it will actually... There's scenarios where it'll double. So I've done some testing, and it will actually... The MP's base heal is 170, and the SP's base heal is 125. And these can sometimes double to 340 and 250. So in a sense, it's similar to phase in the healing department, where it looks at your current SP and MP, and then it'll actually heal one better than the other, depending on the scenario, which actually works kind of pretty nicely in conjunction with one another. If you're using this weapon, casting a light spell, and you're trying to inflict panic, and you're healing with phase, that works pretty nicely, and I'll show that here shortly. Then the melee version, obviously, I think the Communicant set has a ranged version. They actually will heal every attack. So it's going to be every attack, whereas the magic version is every spell cast. Alright, so we come over here, and so I just wanted to kind of show some basics, and then from there, what I'll do is we'll get into some scenarios in which you start to see where it starts to really shine. But just to start off, the shield is basically like an undead trigger. I just have it for now. It's not the greatest. The armor's not too bad, but the weapon is where it shines. The new pets that they released are not very good at all. There's no toggles that do like half damage to increase the effect. The effects are extremely weak, so they're pointless pets. If you can have something that can toggle back and forth, I would rather have that to give me options than some pet there's no toggle. So I'm not even going to cover them. They're very bad. As you can see here, there is full MP and almost full SP. Then you have a light spell here, and then I just healed actually nothing, because I guess neither were... I'm not sure why. There we go. So it just healed to 1926. So I think that was 170, and then we're going to double that now, I think. So now it just did a 340 heal. So you actually could probably get another 1 to 2 spell casts by spamming light spells. This particular one is kind of, if you'll notice, the MP cost is low. Let's see which one is it. 523. It's not a normal 653. So there goes, I think it was a 340. I have seen some 350s. I think there's some bugs that'll give like 5 or 10 more of a heal. So as you can see, you're able to cast more spells because you're just wielding this. Okay? So that brought me to the next question I had. Alright, this guy's gonna blow me up here. Let's see. Alright, we'll do that. Alright, so I'm gonna move on to the next monster here. Alright, so one of the things that I was wondering about, so that's a light spell, but what about something that's not tagged as light, like Psycho Candy Hearts, or maybe there's a spell that seeks, like I could probably test one of the package spells. There's the one that seeks between earth and light, and I could test those, but my guess is it's going to work. So if you notice, I'm going to get this heal here, so I got the heal there. My SP is above 80%, so it's doubling the MP heal here. So this should have a doubled amount. So anyway, there you have it there. So you notice both instances, it's healing back. Okay. But it also works with spell-based skills. And because of the SP heal portion, it's almost like it's discounting your SP skill. So, like I'm going to use... So this costs 490 SP. I'm holding this. So you're going to see the 490 take off, but then it's going to actually heal back. So from 608 to 808, so that it healed back 200. Now 416 to 676, which is 250 or 260. So by discounting the SP attack, you're probably able to just use it over and over and over and over. And there could be an actual case usage scenario for warriors and rangers who have a reduced SP cost to wield the magic version on spell-based skills to then, as long as you haven't used your MP, to then heal back a large portion of your SP, and you're able to just spam your SP attack pretty regularly. Especially if you have other ways to heal your SP, like with pets and guests, like those variant, those guests, where per bat storm has a heal, Plushmore, Jelly Pet, stuff like that. You would then get some additional SP. You could probably just spam, if you had a full MP bar, you could, and you just wielded the magic version, you could just spam it and it would work. Alright, so I'm going to do one thing. So as you can see, I probably get a significant SP heal there. I have permanent prismatic burn. So now I'm going to come over to Neko Transformation. This one is going to seek between light and earth. So I want to make sure that my light is higher than my earth. So I'm gonna do two things in this instance. I'm gonna show you that the Neko Overlord does not eat prismatic burn. I asked staff about it. They claim they're gonna look at it, but because this seeks here, and this will be free, what you're gonna see is you're gonna see my SP increase because it seeked light. As soon as this attack's done, from 367 to 617. That was, I think, 340. So it doubled my SP. So wielding this with a full MP bar, and at least in this specific Neko, would yield, because it seeked light. And I'll just do it one more time. Let's make sure I get light. That's the main one. So 617 up to 802. And it's cool because you can use it on a variety of things. I showed you this one, but there's even this armor. I don't really like this armor. I regret getting it, but since it was an ultra rare. But if you'll notice, so if you do this, it'll actually go twice. So, or it does like a minor one or something. Maybe it's just the normal. So 797 to 307, and then you'll have your per turn one that they'll add, and then they did its attack, and then you got a increased SP because this is a light based. So basically you skip a turn so that it automatically goes so the next turn has increased damage. It's not actually showing the damage right now, so you know how some monsters do that. And then you had the SP heal there. I feel like this would be a scenario in which I would maybe use this armor, especially if I had some Ellie Vuln pet and guests, which there are, or the boosters. So you get auto hit, and then here goes the BTH bullshit. But as you can see, it's increasing your SP when your MP is full. Alright, I'm going to move on to a couple of other things really quick. So now I'm going to combine this with Creature 72 and Phase. And obviously Phase is not as good with the Hypercrit being removed. But what I'm going to do here is bring out a misc called the Bronze Kettle. So I get 35 endurance and 50 charisma and 50 luck by equipping this misc. No, wait, the luck's from the toggle here. I forgot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this, and it's going to cast a light spell that does no damage except for stats from endurance, which I have. And then it's going to try to inflict bleed and paralyze. I've got a full MP bar. This is a free spell. This costs nothing to use. And this probably would work really well with Bards of War in this build, because then these guys are going to go twice, and because Creature 72 is going to go twice, it's going to build Panic, and you're going to have increased SP there. And you could probably do this and then get into the skill, which is pretty strong for Bard of War. So all I'm going to do is click here, and there's going to be some BTH issues, but you're going to notice my SP is going to build, not only because I'm wielding this weapon, but from Phase, and had it paralyzed, and then it'll inflict bleed. As you notice, the setup is keeping my MP and SP full If I wanted to, I could do Una Poca. Maybe I could do Shadow Feeder. And now my SP's low, and I can come back and just click it, and now I'm already up to 837. I literally gave myself 500 SP, and then now because of so I'm done, and I went from, I think it was like 300 to over 1100 right now. And I could just repeat it, give myself celerity. I still probably have the boost from Una Poca, but I'll just go ahead and do it again. And then attempt bleed and paralyze here. And then, as you'll notice, I just realized that if you completely whiff on your spell, maybe it doesn't give you the boost. And then the combined bleeds and burns and stuff like that. So you'll notice if your MP is full and you're using free spells, and Neko has one and this Misk has one. Alright, I'm going to showcase one more thing. And let me get out of this one. Alright, so this isn't the most ideal setup because you basically have 3 different elements going. I mean, you've got darkness from a guest, water from a pet, and light. So I get it, but if you're looking at maintaining MP and SP, this might not be bad. So I've toggled on spellcaster, bleed mode, paralyze mode, and then my plus 50 int. So the Necromancer armor is going to try and eat SP like crazy. I'm starting the battle with 603, but I just did a double inflict of paralyze and bleed. There will be some turns that will do 2 turns of paralyze if they both are successful. And if you notice, I started with 603 SP and I'm at 659. So this setup, I'm actually gaining SP slightly despite how it eats SP. I would call it maybe a wash. A lot of it depends on what phase is going to heal. And if you notice, I'm pretty regularly inflicting paralysis. Depending, these have to land, obviously. So it looks like it may finally attack me finally. And also, I would prefer to use the Mana Defender shield, and it would just build barriers on top of that barrier there. So you got barrier building and bleed building with paralysis. So that's one nice thing, is if you have a Mana Defender or you're using a Necromancer, you're building yourself a defensive barrier. Let me get out of this one. I'll just do one more. You can use like that Golem Assault spell and just spam it, and you might get 1 or 2 extra turns out of it. Sometimes this game, I feel like they have 10 monsters on random battle. Staff needs to just come up with some different stuff. The Gogs, those one that I just fled from. If I can have a decent monster here. And obviously paralyzed don't work with bosses, so you're not going to have the most best setup in the world doing this versus every monster. And it's probably a little bit more tedious than some play styles, but it's pretty strong overall if you combine like basically the effects with the heals. So in this setup, I'm basically able to maintain my SP instead of losing it all. And I'm just spamming this misc. I've got 3 rounds of Paralyze now. So anyway, this item here is, it's the winner of the set. It's what I would personally strive to go get. It looks better than the retro. I think I'm not really big on retro, but I just wanted to showcase some case usage for the weapon, and then talk about some others. Like I said, warriors wielding the magic weapon to do a spell-based skill is probably going to yield you up to 250 SP back on a skill that's 392, so it's only going to cost you 142 in some cases SP.